Hi, it's Laurie Watter, Director of Family Relations at All Points North Lodge, broadcasting live from All Points North Lodge in beautiful Edwards, Colorado. So it's certainly a treat for me to be out here for the next couple of weeks, even if I am currently in quarantine. So I'm out on the porch of the beautiful accommodations that I'm being quarantined in. Couldn't ask for better service. The staff has been absolutely amazing and so welcoming. And I'm waiting for my guest today, who's really, really special guy. So I'm going to wait and see if he can figure out how to pop on. This is a new experience for him. So let me see if I could get him here. Just merging. So I think the connection here is a little bit slow in the beautiful mountains. But there he is.
How are ya?
Yeah, one of my favorite people. This is
Laurie,
Tzvi Heber, the CEO of Ascendant New York, the premier detox and IOP in New York City. And you are live from the West Coast,
and I'm saying I kind of want to be where you are. Look at that view.
right? Isn't it beautiful? So it is a beautiful view, and I may overdo it with the coat I have on because it's pretty beautiful out here today. So, how are you?
I'm good. How are you? How's
I'm
it in
good.
Colorado?
So
Getting
it's been pretty wonderful. I was COVID tested yesterday. I'm waiting for the results to come back so I can get out of quarantine and actually see my people here.
I'm
But
sure they're excited to see you.
yeah, but it's been pretty wonderful, and it's so great to see your face. Um, you know, I adore you, but
Thank
I
you.
know that All Points North Lodge had a pretty rough week last week, and I have to say I adore you even more because you're such a great colleague and such a good friend, and you were so tremendously supportive and just reaching out and offering support and expressing your confidence in us really meant a lot.
Of
So
course. And as I
thank
said,
you
it,
so
it
much.
could, those type of things could happen to everyone. As if anyone in recovery knows, we can't control what could happens around us. We only could control what we could do. And sometimes people will step out of line and I know you and Abe and the team for a while now and know your response to things like this is to meet them with honesty, and that's why I know you guys will get through it as quickly as it happened.
Thank you. So tell us what's going on over at Ascendant.
So it's been pretty wild, being the detox in Manhattan in the middle of this craziness is has been, I would say, from a timeline perspective, we before it even hit, kind of national news, it was a conversation locally, since I would say late February in terms of are we going to have to shut down and or
Mhm.
what is going to be the results, and there was so little information out there, and I would say we went to Zoom really quickly, even before the stock prices went up. We probably should have bought some stock in it,
I know,
but
right?
but we ordered a ton of PPE, so our staff got to bring PPE home to their families, and really felt, that was something really important to me, is that, you know, being a nurse or a tech in a detox is tough enough. Then you add in the fact now that they're dealing with this medical condition that we don't have a vaccine or a cure for. So now it's double. And then they have their family lives that they have to worry about in their own health. So kind of, that was our concentration, is how do we support them as much as we could support our patients? If we support them first, what are we going to do? So we faced it, and we since I would say the first week in March, we were making everyone, didn't allow visitors. We were making everyone sit in the lobby for 15 minutes because obviously with the temperature outside being different,
Mm-hmm.
um, you know, masks. We've had tests for 6 to 8 weeks now, so that's been really nice. Um, and yeah, we've taken suggestions. We've brought on different policies and procedures that we've faced, and it's to us it's been a blessing in disguise in a lot of different ways. Personally, it has been, but also at Ascendant, we've gotten to come together as a family. And I would say that staff that comes together in the way that our staff responded to this, it only is going to help us moving forward. So we're trying to turn it upside down and looking at the positive outcome of where we're going, even though we might not know
Yeah.
where we're going next week.
No, but that's definitely leadership top down, and I feel like that's really what your strength is, and even how you talk about the fact that that you had the PPE and were providing it to your staff and their families. I mean, that's just the kind of guy that you are, and why you're so respected. Um,
Yeah. And our
you know,
biggest concern was also the commute, right? Our building we feel is super safe, right? A bunch of our staff is responsible. That some people have, to be transparent, some people have gotten it, but they haven't been to our office. Like they got it on the subway and they felt a
mhm.
little feverish, so they stayed home. And one of the things I would say for anyone who does run an organization out there is there is something called COVID pay that comes off of your employment taxes. So for us, we encouraged our staff to be vocal. Even if you have the slightest hint that you might have been exposed, or you might have had it, or a family member might have it. A lot of people respond with financial fear when they're not feeling well. Even when we have the typical flu, we go to work because that's what is ingrained in us. But
Right.
the fact is that we shouldn't. And this was just another example of why it's so important. So I think we reassured our staff that financially to reach out to us if that was an issue. And I think that was the response we got. We had 5 staff members come down with COVID. We're in New York, so if we have 50 staff, it makes sense that 5 were positive at a point. And we're blessed that none of them were in the building within a week or within 4 days of
Yeah. And coming from New Jersey, I mean, New Jersey is experiencing a pretty significant crisis now as well. And although I've been in since March 14th, really been in, I did get on 2 flights on Sunday, and the initial flight, Newark to Denver, was packed. I um, I had the first seat on the flight. I was literally 1A, so I was really apart from the rest of the flight, but the flight was pretty full. And then the flight from Denver to Vail was empty. There were only 3 of us on that flight. But I feel like that's probably the biggest risk I've put myself at this point. But of course, with all the precautions, gloves and masks and social distancing and washing my hands and staying apart and fortunately being really healthy. But it's, these are definitely unprecedented times in
yeah.
any of our lifetimes.
Like I've said,
So,
I've shared this with a few people in recovery that I know, and is that this pandemic is an interesting one, right? We know that it not only affects the people that get it, but it affects everyone around them. And I can go into more detail, but we know that it doesn't discriminate, it doesn't have boundaries. And to think about it in that way, there's only one other, and science has come out and said we don't have a cure for it. Um, and there's only one other disease that I know of that at least hits us home, which is the disease of addiction. And it's a pretty simple philosophy is that, science has come out with man and said we have to take on these few little steps to ensure that we stay safe. And one is like washing our hands, one is wearing a mask, gloves, and social distancing. And like if you look at the 12 steps, like 1 through 9 is clearing the wreckage of your past, which is washing your hands, right? Cleaning what you've touched. 10 talks about watching your tongue and pen with your future actions, and what better way than a mask? 11 is seeking through prayer and meditation. When you wear gloves, you essentially, I mean, when you pray, it's like you ask God to walk through all your actions. And when you wear gloves, you're protecting yourself, and your higher power is your glove essentially. And then 12 is the idea of service, and service is the essence of service is doing something without expecting something in return. And that's what social distancing is, right? Is no one's knocking on your door and saying, Laurie, thank you so much for staying at home. I appreciate what you do for me, and so on and so forth. What you are getting is just facts, which is you're doing this for the person next to you, not expecting anything in return. And I think people that are sober or are coming into a place like APN or leaving a place like APN or Ascendant, like they're learning the tools on how to not only get through their addiction, but also, to me, I see a lot of Zoom meetings and this, like the response from the recovery community has been so strong within this pandemic. Like I'm proud to be a part of it more so than I've ever been.
It's an amazing analogy. And so really, and so fitting for this setting right now. And I really appreciate that. And I hope that this plays over and over again so people get an opportunity to hear that. And we keep hearing that the masks are not about keeping us safe. They're about keeping other people safe. And, when I look around and see people not putting on a mask in a setting in which, they have the opportunity to spread a virus, it's like I question, are they not educated about what's going on, or simply don't care? There were definitely people in the airport that were unmasked. You couldn't get on the flight that way, but definitely people that were, walking around. And it's uncomfortable. I mean, it was horrible to have that mask on from early in the morning till late in the day. But, it's really about making sure that you're not spreading anything to other people. And for that reason, I would tolerate it.
Yeah.
So, but I absolutely love you. I'm so grateful for our friendship. I'm so happy that you figured out how to get on Instagram.
Yeah,
With me.
I'm not an Instagram guy,
Well, you are now.
I am. I guess I am. I've crossed I've crossed the line. My wife's my wife's the Instagram, queen. She's cardio and minivans. If you guys want to follow someone in good shape that also makes good meals, but no, she's the guru when it came to this. So and I'm blessed. I have a home that at Ascendant and a home in my daily life that really not only support me but support others around us, and that's what I feel our job is as treatment providers at this point is when people are leaving us or leaving our care, they're going into a different world than they ever have, and they're not able. I was talking to a friend, Michael Walsh, today, really well-known guy in the industry, and he said, what the hardest thing is? That like that newcomer can't get a hug when they go to their first meeting. They're getting a high five through Zoom. And I'm very grateful that we as in treatment providers get to provide that hug, while support groups are out of commission for the time being. So I realize how important our role is, and that's why I've said, like, always, if I'm giving that support to my staff, they'll always give it to the patient. And I feel like leadership is super important here. And, as I said, All Points North does leadership like nobody else. So I'm excited to see you guys get through that little hurdle. And I know that that you've proven that your level of care is superior to most. So, I'm excited to see what more has to come from you guys.
Thank you so much. And you are such a mention. Tell the viewers how they can get in touch with you at Ascendant.
So I always stick them on Harold, Junior. He's the easiest person to get to, but you're always welcome to call my cell, 818-267-0704. You can find us at ascendantnewyork.com. And yeah, we believe in 10% of our population will always be scholarships. So if you have someone in New York that's struggling right now and could use some help and you need some guidance, our team says that we place everyone no matter what. And on average, we place around 100 Medicaid patients outside of our facility on top of the ones that we scholarship bias. So we're proud of that because I think it's the hardest thing to do in New York City. If you're familiar with it, anybody, is to get into a Medicaid facility is super difficult. The waits are long, the times are long, but that was one of our focus, develop those relationships to help people get in with a transition and easy and not have to fight to just even have the chance of hope at recovery. And that was our mission, and we're sticking to it.
And you do have a great team with Harold and Josh and Charlotte and the rest of the people there. I mean, you do great work, and I'm happy to have that relationship with you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for coming on today.
I
Stay
appreciate
well,
you
stay
having me.
safe.
You as well.
Thank you. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.